Hey everybody, TechChucker here, and we're going to review the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles knockoff set. I got these guys off of eBay for a pretty darn good price. Here's a quick look at the packaging that these guys come in. It's kind of a plastic see-through. It's actually pretty good. It doesn't look super awesome, but it serves its purpose. Alright, let's take a look at these guys. Alright, let's talk articulation first, because that's the part I like. Okay, so Leonardo and all four of them have a nice ball joint in the head, and then they've got another ball and hinge joint in the neck. Gives really good range of motion. He can actually fold up his head all the way down. Looking up, not as much. It's a little bit harder for the ball joint, but with this extra neck joint, it's pretty good. There's really good tilt, so you can get some really good emotion looks out of them. Shoulders, there's a ball joint. He can lift his arm almost straight out, and he can rotate all the way around. There is a upper bicep swivel, which I've noticed on some of these, it looks like it's pulling out a little bit, and it makes me a little bit nervous that it's going to be a little bit brittle, or that it could break, so be careful with that. Single jointed elbow gets you about 90 degrees, not too bad. And then in the wrists there is a peg joint, which is pretty tight because of this sculpted wristband. And then there is a hinge, which it moves up a decent amount, and it curls down. Not too bad, pretty good. Alright, there is a waist swivel, which actually works pretty good considering this chest shell piece is a little bit soft, so you can get them to turn a little bit. Not a lot, but enough. There's a T-jointed hip joint, which works really well, so he can get into some decent kicking positions. There is a pin hinge in that ball joint, and then there is also an upper thigh. It's not quite a cut joint, but there's a peg in there. Double jointed knees, so he can get pretty good range of motion in that knee, almost entirely in half. And then there is backward and forward. Not much of an ankle rocker. I mean, it barely moves. It really doesn't do a whole lot. I've noticed that in the up here, they're a little loose. At least mine is. So be careful with that. Overall, the articulation is awesome. I just love it. You can get them into a lot of really cool poses, and there's no real complaints there. All right, moving into Sculpt. I love the sculpt of this. They did such an awesome job. There's awesome sculpted little wrinkles throughout, especially on the toes. It's super cool. I really love the sculpted bandanas. They just did an awesome job here. I mean, God, I'm just drooling over this thing. You know, muscles here. They just did a really good job, and I don't know if these truly are bootlegs, or if they're, if they were factory defects that NECA actually didn't want to sell, or what they are, but they're just awesome. Almost forgot there is tail articulation here, so that's kind of cool. But going back to the sculpt, I mean, this thing is just really cool. I love the neck, the long neck, and the ability to go ahead and bring that in with the soft, pliable plastic here. The shell's pretty hard, which the turtle is going to have a pretty hard shell anyway. But I mean, just look at the scabbard on this guy. This is just really cool. It's actually textured, and it's not just smooth, which is so cool. I love these little knee and elbow pads. God, it just did an awesome job. It just looks so good. And then you add in the paint, and I'm not really sure if the plastic is actually green or if this is all painted. I think it's painted, and it's just such a good paint job on these guys. I mean, if you can see the paint job on the chest alone, I mean, there's so many different variations in the color, and I love the little black accent colors or accents that they put in here. They just did an awesome job. Nice clean lines. There's just nothing to complain about with these guys. They're just so cool. And then if you throw in the accessories for each of these, they're really well done. You know, Leonardo comes with his swords, and the cool thing with these swords, now in order to get them in, the plastic for the hands is a little bit stiff. But what they did is they allowed you to pop off the end. And so you can go ahead and pop that off, slide it in his hand real easy like, and pop that back on. And now he can hold it. He can hold that without any issue. And so the other guys, Michelangelo, he gets his gets his nunchucks. These actually are the least nice looking of the paint work. Mine were kind of melted together, and I don't know if this is the way they were supposed to be or not. But I pried one set apart and left the other part together. I just think they're so cool with this chain. That's really cool. And then Raphael comes with his size. They're really cool too, and you can see, maybe you can see the paint, and they did sculpt a little bit of texture in the hilt of these things, or the handle, I don't know what that's called. The silver looks nice. God, these things are just awesome looking. And then Donatello's staff, his bow staff, really cool. Not only is the sculpt work done really nicely, there's got the wood grain, and you're not going to be able to see that in with my cruddy camera, but maybe you can. But yeah, they just did a really good job with the wrap. The coolest part is, just like Leonardo's swords, you wouldn't be able to get it into his hand, except they made it separate. And so you can go ahead and slide that into position, and then just peg that back together, and there he goes. One thing that I've noticed is some of the joints. You can see that the plastic is white here. I don't know something about the production value of the actual joints here. There's quite a few of them on some of the other figures that you can see that. Not a big deal for me. I didn't pay very much for these, so I did notice I must have scratched Donatello's head when I was pulling them out of the packaging, so that's kind of a bummer. But all in all, these are just, I'm just drooling over these figures. I love the turtles. These are just so cool. So if you have a chance and you haven't gotten them yet, I think I'm literally the last person to have gotten them. If you need them, go get them. There's lots of them on eBay. Be careful of the different sellers. There's a bunch of scammers out there. I'll post the one that I bought from that was successful, and hopefully you'll have luck like I did, at least on this last sale, not on all of my other sales, because those went very badly. Alright, this has been TechChucker. Enjoy.
TechChucker's Brain Blast.